Welcome into the Davis Football Show, everyone. My name is Nick Davis, and we're here with my brother Rob in the Davis Studios. Thank you so much for listening today. We are going to be covering all things football for you sports fans. This is the DFF. Welcome into the show, everybody. Thank you again so much for listening. We are 2 weeks away from the start of the 2020 season, Rob.
I'm ready for it. I've been counting down.
Yeah, it is crunch time for what looked to be pretty, difficult throughout the year. I mean, we got a lot of good going on right now. Like, training camp seemed to be going well. They're getting tested. They're doing what they need to do to take precautions, and it's happening.
Yeah, I know there was a incident with a lot of false positives this past week, but it's been going really good.
Yeah, and not to dive into every little issue that each team has been dealing with, but there's going to be positive tests and there's going to be situations, but we're just going to monitor it and use our best judgment in real time and move forward, and let's do this thing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, all this is new to everyone, so you just gotta go day by day and just see what happens.
Exactly. So today we're going to talk about the fans in the stands, which when this thing was full blown a couple months ago, the fans in the stands seemed like something that definitely wasn't even going to happen, and possibly not even a season. But the season's going down for sure, and knock on wood if you're with me. And fans in the stands are something that it does appear is going to happen as well.
Yeah, I mean, at first I thought a lot of teams thought they were going to have at least some fans in the stands, but now it's only 5 or 6 teams that are going to have less than half? Not even?
Correct. Yeah, a lot of places still can't do it. I believe New York was listen, fans aren't happening in New York, period. It sounds for the entire season at least. I know other large cities like Chicago, it's going to be very difficult to, get something like that done. But then you got states like the one I'm in Wisconsin, where Green Bay, it's a smaller city. They did come out and say there's going to be no fans for the first couple games. But, it's a long season. Come mid-season or, crunch time, the playoff run, it's very possible that they could have fans in at Lambeau. And it does seem that, there are teams across the country right now, Florida, all 3 teams in Florida, big surprise. Jerry Jones in Dallas and Kansas City, who are, game one, they want people there. Of course, it's going to be in a limited capacity, 20%, 25%, whatever, the stadium capacity is. But they want people there, and it's exciting.
Yeah, I know. Chicago, I know they're not having no fans here. I know Baltimore. I was hoping it was going to have at least some fans by at least week 3, because they're playing the Chiefs. It's going to be a big game. But, yeah, they said they're not having fans for the initial part of the season. So, whatever that means, they're just playing it by week pretty much. So, yeah, man, it was real different this year.
Yeah, and, the question arises of are some teams going to be at a disadvantage due to it? And,
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that too, but how much noise could 10,000 fans make? Would it be that much of a difference, you think?
Yeah, true. A lot of the advantage comes from not being able to hear the plays and playing with a large group like 70,000 people. But if only a limited capacity is allowed, then is it really that much of a difference? Is it really that much of an impact? It's I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think. You got to have at least 30 to 40,000 to make a difference. I feel at least for like the inside players. Maybe I know the outside players maybe not be able to hear like the receivers, but besides that, I think they'll be able to hear just fine.
Yeah, and to my understanding, the Chiefs even allowed fans into Arrowhead Stadium to watch training camp. The only team in the NFL, to my knowledge, right now that's even allowing that. I mean, and I think that's the big first step that a lot of people were looking for.
Yeah, that's the only team I heard of that's having fans come to practice. So I guess Kansas City out there, restrictions are a lot less harsh than other cities.
Yeah, it's like the Ozarks out there.
Yeah, I swear. Also, I heard it was talking about it's a possibility of them having a bubble situation for the playoffs, how the NBA is doing right now. I don't know how they would make that work because, football teams are so much bigger than basketball teams, but, that's always a possibility.
Right. And I know we spoke previously about how that's not possible with NFL because it's so large, but we were speaking on all 32 teams. Now, with the playoffs, it's an extended playoffs now. Yeah. Right? So there's 14 teams instead of 12. But even still, you think they'll be able to bubble 14 full NFL rosters into one city?
I don't know how they would do it. If they use Orlando, how the NBA's doing right now, I know Disney's really big. So maybe they'll be able to do that. But I don't know. I don't feel like it's playoff games. It's the NFL. They're going to want fans in stadiums. Mostly full.
Right, yeah. True. That's, and will that become a disadvantage of some sort? I understand fans may not be the factor, but playing on your home field, being comfortable in your own locker room, that has something to do with it, no? The familiarity?
Yeah, and honestly, it all depends on how the season goes. If there's no, it's just not a lot of positive tests, then I feel like they're not going to even think about doing a bubble. But if a lot of players and staffs, tested positive, then they really got to think about doing a bubble.
Right. I see that.
Yeah.
So fans in the stands, 2020, man, that's something that never did not think that was going to end up being true a couple months ago. But I for one am excited to see it for sure.
Yeah, me too.
Now moving on to a couple, let's move into the money. All right, now, all these dudes play this game for the money. Yeah, we love football. That's why we're recording and talking about it. But these dudes are playing for a check. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So. A couple dudes broke the bank, set some records, I guess you could say. George Kittle ended up signing the largest tight end contract ever. And, the tight end position is a little weird, don't you think, Rob? You're kind of a lineman because you block, but you are eligible to go out and catch as well. So you're like a receiver, but you have a larger responsibility than receivers. And you're more dynamic because it's harder for the defense to cover a guy like you, which sometimes you would think is more valuable, but aren't you paid more based on value? So yet the tight end market, like the running back market, you're not really paid wide receiver money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know why tight ends aren't making as much as receivers because, the impact is almost the same. For receivers, how much is the highest paid tight end right now?
So George Kittle is the highest paid tight end, and he just signed a 5-year, $75 million extension. And a bunch of that is made up of guaranteed money. More than half of the deal is made up of guarantees, with $30 million guaranteed at signing and $40 million guaranteed for injury, and an $18 million signing bonus. Can you imagine that? $18 million just for signing.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, how much is that per year for George Kittle? $15 million?
That's ballpark. Now, granted, Amari Cooper signed a 5-year, $100 million deal. Like, is that
Right. I was saying right now, Adam Thielen and Jarvis Landry, they both make like 16, 15 million per year. So I mean,
yeah?
both of those
I mean,
teams
who would you rather have
exactly. Both of those teams would easily trade for George Kittle. Those players for George
in a
Kittle right now.
heartbeat? Right. So I mean, yeah, that's. I mean, that's what I'm trying to get to is the tight end market is still really low compared to the value that these guys make. And unlike running backs, I don't think it's a dying position. I don't think it's a injury prone position. Or do they get beat up more than wide receivers? Yeah, maybe, but wide receivers get injured too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I kind of feel on a running back market, and the running back market shouldn't be. I mean, it should be how it is now, because I feel like you could bring in running backs from straight out of college and they'll be effective more than tight ends and receivers. I feel like, and
It's the easiest one to transfer, or translate to the NFL. Yes.
yeah, and they're kind of injury prone. They don't last as long as receivers and tight ends. I feel like so. I mean, yeah, the market on the running back should like definitely be going down compared to past years, but yeah, tight end definitely should be just as much receivers. I feel like.
Yeah. Now, right behind George Kittle, Travis Kelce did sign an extension as well with the Chiefs, which is a little mind-blowing knowing that, man, they just broke the bank on Mahomes, set that record deal, then they signed Chris Jones. Now, man, Kelce right behind them. 4-year, $57 million contract, including $28 million in guaranteed, and an annual salary of $14.3 million. His base salary of $8 million and a roster bonus of $1 million. I mean, that's the second highest paid in the league. And, when you sign Mahomes to a $500 million deal, you do need to sign his number one guy to make sure he stays a number one guy, right?
Oh yeah, when you're going all in, I mean, you got Patrick Mahomes, you got to surround him with talent. I mean, you see what Aaron Rodgers is going through. Not surrounding him with talent. So I mean, you got to break the bank to give Mahomes weapons when you got a player like him.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, keeping on the tight end subject, Zach Ertz, the tight end of the Eagles, who a lot of people, especially in Philly, feel he's the best tight end in the league. I necessarily don't feel that way. I think he's really good. I wouldn't call him number one in the league, but a lot of people feel that way. That's just what I'm getting to. He signed a pretty nice contract 5 years ago, and he's been living good. But the rumor is that the 29-year-old has been in negotiations to extend his deal, given the new contracts of Kittle and Kelce. Currently, Zach Ertz is number 7 in the league in tight end earnings with these new deals. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, yeah. I mean, just honestly, like, depends on, like, when you just signed the deal. I mean, Zach Ertz signed this deal before years ago. So, I mean, every year the salary kept going up. So, yeah, definitely time to get him a new deal because he definitely, he should be up there a little bit higher, especially, I don't know who's exactly in front of him. I know Gronkowski's ahead of him. I don't think Gronkowski's going to even be close how good Zach Ertz is going to be this year.
Yep, you make a great point. Yep, there's some guys on the list that I would take Ertz in a heartbeat over. And let me go down that list real quick. So Kittle's number 1, like we mentioned. Kelce's number 2. Number 3 is Chargers tight end Hunter Henry at $10.6 million, and he is a tight end that is injury prone, for the record. Number 4 is new Cleveland Brown tight end Austin Hooper, who got in from Atlanta, who paid him a little over $10 million to come out there. Vikings tight end Kyle Rudolph, $9 million, which I'm surprised the Vikings even kept him with the new tight end or the young tight end Irv Smith right there too, who's been balling. Number 6 ends up being Gronkowski, who came out of retirement at $9 million before Zach Ertz hit number 7 at 8.5. 8 and 9 round out at tight end Jimmy Graham of his new home in Chicago, and tight end Jared Cook, who's now with the Saints. So those are the top tight ends in the league here, and as of August 25th.
Yeah, I mean, the tight ends ahead of them. I mean, I don't know if Zach Ertz is as good as them, but like just comparing them to like receivers, like receivers making $8 million a year, like I don't like the value is way off from tight ends to receivers. I feel like let me check receivers that's making around $8 million a year. We have Marvin Jones, Kenny Stills, Adam Humphries, Sammy Watkins, Jameson Crowder. Like, I mean, Zach Ertz,
trash.
Zach Ertz is way better than all of them. So, I mean, it's just the market for the tight end. I mean, I feel like over the years it's going to go up just how NFL is, how offenses are being played in the NFL right now. Tight ends are being used more. So, I mean, I feel like that value is going to equal out sooner or later.
Yeah, and that's very true, that the tight end position has really exploded in the past, 10, 12 years. Like, Tony Gonzalez and Shannon Sharp, two, Hall of Fame, all-pro tight ends, spoke on, man, if I was in the league today versus the 90s, the kind of life I would have, the kind of career I would have, it would have been unbelievable. Just because they're now the focus and they never used to be. So it's pretty special. Now, staying on the topic of money, let's talk about the new highest paid safety in the league. And I laugh because, does everyone know who Budda Baker is?
I'm sure a lot of people do not.
So, if you know who Budda Baker is, let us know. That's what I thought, exactly. So, Budda Baker is a safety on the Cardinals, and he is now the new highest paid safety in the league. And I do understand why. He's a freak, a lot like Jamal Adams. He's a roamer. He hits. He plays at the line. He rushes the passer. He can play linebacker if you need him to. Like, he's pretty universal. He's very comparable to Isaiah Simmons, who, funny enough, was picked up by Arizona in the draft. So, man, it's definitely money well spent, I would say. But the knock is, like you said, Rob, he has 0 interceptions.
Oh, yeah. He's a real good player, but just interceptions. I mean, 0 interceptions over a few years. I mean, that's kind of concerning, but, I mean, he's a good player, so, I mean, you got to pay him.
He's what you would call a thumper, right?
Oh, yeah. He's the first team All-Pro. Yeah, he's a little guy. He's about 5'10", but, I mean, he could hit. He could cover. He's a real good player.
Yeah, looking at like where he lined up, I mean, he was all over the field. Some he was safety, some he was linebacker, in the box, on the edge, slot corner. I mean, he really can do it all. And that I think that versatility, along with the versatility of Simmons, is really going to make Arizona's defense pretty special. Like, they're going to be able to line up against anyone in role, and it kind of reminds me a little bit of San Diego. Like, I remember, in that playoff game when Lamar Jackson was running all over the place, San Diego was able to line up and really change their defense entirely to mirror that speed, and basically played with no linebackers and played with 4 safeties and ended up, altering the game to have some success.
Yeah, the way offenses are run now, I mean, you got to have a versatile defense. You got to have safeties that can cover. You got to have safeties that can play in the box. So, I mean, I feel like that's where the Cardinals are going. I mean, they got Budda Baker, they got Isaiah Simmons. Hopefully, Isaiah Simmons, hopefully could play, multiple positions. So, I mean, this might be a really versatile defense this upcoming year.
Yeah, for sure. So the highest paid safety now, Eddie Jackson. Being a Chicago Bears fan, I know my boy Eddie got paid and broken off, and I think he was up there on this list of the highest paid safeties. Budda Baker just outdid his contract, getting paid $14.75 million this year. Eddie Jackson was at $14.6 million. So just barely, not by, we're talking a couple $100,000 here. Kevin Byard, he is a little under the radar here, but he's the number 3. Landon Collins, who broke that big deal with the Washington football team. Let's not get on that train. For $14 million. To Ron Matthew, I think he's worth every penny there in Kansas City. Mm-hmm. You saw what happened last year. And then Devin McCourty, he's someone, New England just got such a well put together secondary, and he definitely is the centerpiece of that. And then you got Justin Simmons in Denver at 11.4. Anthony Harris, I believe that's a new deal for him, or is that the franchise tag at 11.4? And then Kareem Jackson, the strong safety in Denver, at $11 million. So Denver by far has the highest paid safety group with both their free and strong safety in the top 9. That's a pretty expensive secondary. No wonder why they couldn't keep Chris Harris.
Right. Yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah, Budda Baker, and but upcoming years you got Jamal Adams and you got Mika Fitzpatrick. I feel like they are both better than Budda Baker right now. So I mean, Budda Baker just kind of reset the market. So how much is Jamal Adams and Mika Fitzpatrick going to get?
Yep, and I'm so glad you brought up Jamal Adams, because Jamal Adams he should be broken off. Like we've seen, Amari Cooper and these traded players on their last year. Like if you trade for a player, you need to extend them because you're giving up all this capital that you can't go to waste. So, for example, Dallas trades for Amari Cooper with a second-round pick, right?
Yeah.
If you let him walk after 1 year, was it a first? I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
so, so Dallas trades for Amari Cooper, first-round pick. Say he walks. Say you can't get a deal done. He's gone after a year. That second-round pick would have definitely been on the team year 2, year 3, year 4, and now it looks like you lost the trade. You need to sign these players right when you trade for them. Now, in Seattle's case, they gave up a haul for Jamal Adams. Man, I don't have the details in front of me, but I believe it was like 2 first rounds, a player, and a third round.
Yeah, I think it was in the third round, yeah.
And they got Jamal Adams in a 4th back. So, yeah, so this guy can't walk. This is his last year of his deal, right? And, of course, you could franchise tag him and have him for a couple, but you need to extend this dude, and he needs to be locked in long term. And you gave him highest paid safety in the league type of capital to get him, so you can't undercut him on the money now. You got to do what the Chicago Bears did with Khalil Mack.
Oh yeah,
trade 2 first rounds, sign him the next day to the highest paid, record breaking type money. That's what needs to happen for Jamal Adams, and I do believe he'll beat out Budda Baker here. But before we know it, he is a significantly better player.
Yeah, Jamal Adams and Mika Fitzpatrick, they're both better players. They're both going to get around $16-17 million a year, I think.
And Derwin James, too. Like, I know he's a little further down the road, but he'll be the highest paid when it's all said and done in a couple of years.
Oh, yeah, him too. Yeah, him too. This is his 3rd year. This will probably be his 3rd year. So, I mean, yeah. Safety.
Yeah, he'll get the 5th year for sure. So yeah, but I would say another 2-3 years he'll be the highest paid. I bet. Um, but so let's back up real quick. Let's go to Seattle again. So Seattle got Jamal Adams, and they're going to pay him. If they have any sense, they're going to pay him top safety type money.
Oh yeah.
And the whole reason why they're in this situation is because they did not want to pay Earl Thomas top safety type money a couple years ago. Remember, his contract ended, and he was demanding like top dollar, and Seattle was like, "No, you're not worth top dollar." They didn't come out and say that, but that's basically what they were telling them. And Earl Thomas was like, "Jerry Jones, come get me. I want out." Mm-hmm. And then they ended up, moving on. But man, how smart does Seattle look today? Imagine Earl Thomas definitely could have been on this top 9 highest paid list. And I mean, do you view him as a top 10 safety in the league right now?
Top 10, of course, yeah. Top 10 safety, of course, without question.
Earl Thomas, top 10?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
All right, so where does he fall here on this high paid list? We got Budda Baker, Eddie Jackson, Bayard, Collins, Matthew, McCourty, Simmons, Harris, Kareem Jackson. Where on this list does he fall?
Well, I mean, right now he don't fall nowhere because he's not on a team.
True. All right, true. If he was in Baltimore still, where would he fall?
He was. I'm pretty sure he was set to make $14 million this year. So he'll be.
You know what I think? Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be
true.
top 5.
He'll be top 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do you think the Ravens lucked out by getting out of that contract?
I mean, it all depends because they're still on the hook for that dead cap money. They just have to, There's so the reason they cut him was what's the word I'm looking for?
Contract violation.
Yeah. Like, because he got in a lot of fights. So the main thing with Earl Thomas last year training camp, he got in a big fight with Brandon Williams, one of the Ravens defensive captains, and all during the season, he was late for meetings. After one game, he no-showed practice Monday and Tuesday. He did a lot of bulletin board material that a lot of other Ravens players didn't like. And this offseason, he got in a fight with another Ravens captain, Chuck Clark, so punching him. So the Ravens captain voted him not to come to practice no more. I think a couple days later they cut him. So it was just a team chemistry thing, especially with the Ravens. Team chemistry is really, really important to them. So I mean, they just kind of they got to bite the bullet on the cap room. So they got to go through the courts trying to have the salary cap and not pay him his guaranteed money because the reason that they cut him.
Yep, I can see that now. Man, what and not to mention the orgy fiasco with his brother and his wife busting in there with a Glock 9.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's definitely not a good look.
I mean, it's crazy how you could just throw all this money away. Unbelievable. Okay, so Earl Thomas top 5 still. So
I don't know about top 5 anymore. He kind of disrespected the Ravens purple in that playoff game, being a lead block for Derrick Henry. But I mean,
yeah, he did. He did. That was a little. That's not the way you want to go out. Where do you see him winding up, though? Do you think Jerry Jones goes and gets him?
Jerry Jones said he talked to him. They have interest, but nothing right now. Honestly,
yeah. So it's funny because Mike McCarthy, the coach, said hey, the chemistry of the team is first and foremost. And we're not looking just to add a big name. We're looking for someone that's going to fit the team. And I guess Jerry Jones was look, I didn't talk to Earl yet. It's my decision. I'll speak to him eventually and we'll see what happens kind of thing. I mean, how do you think that whole thing shapes out in Dallas?
I mean, Dallas have a lot of, they got a lot of cap room right now. So, I mean, the favorites to me would be Dallas unless Earl Thomas. It depends. If he looking for money or is he looking for a championship? Because I mean, he could jump on the contender right now for way less money than what Dallas could give him. So I mean, I don't know. It all depends what he wants. But if I had to put my money on it, I feel like he'll be in Dallas.
Wait, are you saying Dallas is not a contender?
I mean, I'm talking about like a high contender, like the Chiefs. You know, he's not going to go to the Ravens. You know, the Bucks maybe.
Yeah.
49ers. Either 49ers or the Cowboys, if I had to guess. If he's really trying to take less money, I don't even know if the Chiefs have any money to give him. But Chiefs and the Cowboys, not the Chiefs and the Cowboys, the Cowboys and 49ers if I had a bet.
I can actually see the 49ers. I didn't think about them at all until you mentioned it just now, and I really see that, like trying to get revenge on Seattle twice a year. I can
link up with his boy Richard Sherman.
That fitting. Yeah, link up with Sherm. I can see that.
Yeah, either of those two. That's my gut feeling. As long as you go to the NFC.
That is interesting. Keep your eye out, folks, for the Earl Thomas landing. He was flying in Seattle. He was flying in Baltimore. My money is going to be on the Falcons. He's going to land on another bird team. He's going to land on the bird team. Just watch.
All right, well,
or the Eagles. Falcons. Or the Eagles. The Falcons or the Eagles.
Oh, yeah, I can see the Eagles too. I don't know about the Falcons. I mean, they're not really a contender.
He wants to play for a team that can fly. That's all I know.
He wanted to play for a team that can fly to the playoffs. Not the Falcons.
Yeah, they haven't gotten over their Super Bowl hangover yet.
No.
So their hangovers are about as bad as mine. They now, speaking of Super Bowl, jump to the Super Bowl champs, Kansas City Chiefs. Their cornerback, Breland, back in April, he was charged. He was arrested and charged with 5 counts: resisting arrest, transport of alcohol in a motor vehicle with a broken seal, an open container of beer or wine in a motor vehicle, possession of 28 grams or less of marijuana and 10 grams of hash while driving, all without a license. Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what he was
off the Super Bowl victory. Yeah, come on. You're not even trying at that point. Like you're trying to get caught.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely not smart. But I mean, off the Super Bowl victory, he's trying to have a good time, but that's still not okay.
He was out here like Aaron Hernandez, just trying to get caught.
Right. Yeah, definitely not smart on him. But yeah, he's gonna miss the first 4 games this year.
Yep. So it just came out. That's what I was getting to. Is he was just suspended for the first 4 games. So the Chiefs are going to be without 2 of their 3 starting cornerbacks from last year. Because Kendall Fuller, we all know, went to the Washington football team. We'll bypass that again and, get back to that later. They are going to be without 2 of their big playmakers. And, how is that defense going to hold up? Granted, it's the beginning of the year. But we all know at the beginning of the year, that's when teams like to air it out too. The teams don't try to ground and pound week 1. They want to throw. And, is their secondary going to be a liability in their first 4 games, which are going to be pretty serious? I mean, they got the Ravens week 3, right?
Yeah, they got the Ravens week 3. They got the Texans week 1.
They got Houston week 1. Yeah, I mean, these are big games. These are playoff games.
Yeah, especially with, the new format, there's only one team that gets a bye. So, I mean, that Ravens game, that's the tiebreaker right there. So, that's huge.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It sure is. It's going to be very, very interesting. Is Breland that big of a piece? Maybe not. Kansas City paid everybody but him. But
Oh no,
I think
Breezen's a big piece. I feel like
I was gonna say he ain't no jump though.
yeah,
And the Kansas City offense is all flash and it's a big time offense, and that's what everyone is drawn to. But at the end of the game, at the end of the day, let's be real. The defense won that Super Bowl. Mahomes could put up a bunch of points, but the reason why they didn't win the Super Bowl the year before was because the defense couldn't stop no one.
yeah, yeah. The defense definitely blew it last year. I mean, 2 years ago when they should have won it.
Right.
And should have beat the Patriots, but
yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see. We'll see if Braylon can put it together. We will soon see. We have less than, or I shouldn't say less than. We have 2 weeks. We have about 16 days before Game 1.
yes,
which is Kansas City, right?
Yeah, Kansas City playing Texans, Week 1.
Yeah. Real quick before we jump off, let's talk about Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers did come out and say he does not believe that his career is going to end in Green Bay. He reads the writing on the wall. Love is the future, and while he's here, he's going to play his best football.
Yeah.
I mean, he's really saying what everyone's thinking, including the Packers organization, right?
Yeah, I mean, Aaron. I feel like Aaron Rodgers. He's doing the right thing. He's not doing what Brett Favre did when Aaron Rodgers was in Jordan Love's situation. He's handling it a lot better than Brett Favre did. So and I kind of feel like I got the feeling Rodgers doesn't. He likes Green Bay, but it's not like. I feel like he won't be that upset if he goes somewhere else.
Yeah, he's definitely a guy who is not afraid. Like he kind of reminds me of the 20-year-old college kid who can get an apartment in any city and live his best life. Like he isn't emotionally attached to things as much as others, and I feel he does love Green Bay. I think he's grateful, but he's like, shit, I'll go and compete with the Cowboys if I need to.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers.
The Patriots if I need to.
Yeah, he's a West Coast kid. He's from Cali, so Green Bay isn't what he's used to, but that's what he grew up in. So I feel like a change of scenery for him. I feel like he won't hate it.
Yeah, 49ers maybe.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see about Jimmy G this year.
They talked about Brady. Brady was a little too old for him to pull the trigger, but say Jimmy G doesn't play that well this year. Do Shanahan and them boys reevaluate the quarterback again? And Rodgers is older, but he's not 43 like Brady. He's still got some years. Maybe do they pull the trigger there?
Oh yeah, definitely. If he's available, I feel like they should, especially if Jimmy G don't progress. In what a lot of people thought he was gonna be when he signed that contract after only playing 2 games. But yeah, if I was the 49ers, I'd try to get Rodgers right now.
Yeah. Exactly. So, fans in the stands. That is the theme. Let's talk college real quick, Rob. Fans in the stands at college games. It's crazy because the college football world is a little different than the NFL. Some of these schools are entirely funded by their football programs, and they're desperate to have fans in the stands. And I think certain cities are demanding that it must happen, while other conferences as a whole are shutting down completely. Like the Big 12. They're like, listen, we're not playing a season. And there's teams in the Big 12 who are like, man, maybe we should jump conference for the year or forever, And what a mess, right?
Yeah, with college, it's just it's a hard situation because there's no like commissioner of all like the college conferences. Everyone's like pretty much doing their own thing. So I know like the Big Ten isn't playing any games. So I know the AP poll just came out today, and I think Ohio State was like number 2 behind Clemson's or number 3 or something like that. But like they're not even playing this year, so like why would they include them? And honestly, like when's the first college game? Do you know?
It's typically a week before the NFL. So,
but is it that this year?
Weekend, I believe. I don't know this year, but historically it'll be next week.
Yeah. But is it for that this year?
I don't know. We'll put something together for our next podcast.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that either because I know Bama they're just starting school back up and they just have 500 students that's positive for COVID. So I feel like if it's like that, they can't have a season.
Yeah, and I believe Notre Dame was in the same boat.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's not looking good for college football. I feel like I don't think they're gonna make it through the whole season.
No, it's not. And I know a lot of these players are like pushing for it, and I'm with them. Trust me. Joe Burrow came out with a tweet saying, like, hey, without the 2019-2020 season, there's no, like, I might be looking for a job right now. There's no Joe Burrow NFL, and that's real. This year, that may not happen, may be the ultimate future for some of these kids. And being an athlete, I'm all for giving them a shot,
Yeah, that's the best for them. But with the pandemic going on, you can't really. It's kind of hard. You can't have a bunch of college kids, getting tested positive, risking their lives for no pay. They're not even getting paid, So that's the tough thing. Because imagine if they try to force them to have a season and then someone gets it and God forbid passes away. That's that's a really bad look.
Yeah, true. You're absolutely right. The risk is severe, and it is something that everyone's going to look for, and especially those who are against the games being played or fans in the stands. It's going to be something that they're going to look for people to blame and reasons to say that these decisions are wrong. So. Yeah, it's a touchy subject, and that's why these boys get paid the big bucks.
Yeah, but not the college kids. They don't get paid the big bucks.
True, yeah, not the college kids. Well, if they're not playing under college rules, can they pay them?
No, you can't pay. No, you can't. It's not allowed. You
can't. Not if they don't play for the college team, but the XFL is underway, right? They can't, Did The Rock just come up?
Oh yeah, no, because the top athletes anyway, they're still gonna get drafted.
Yeah, the top athletes, but there could be a ton of young talent in this league, this XFL league.
Yeah, but if you're not on your last year of eligibility, you're not gonna. Because once you play for the XFL, you can't play in college no more. So they're not gonna give up their college eligibility to play in the XFL for 1 year or however long.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. It's just honestly, the seniors about to go to the draft. That's the only they're the only ones really that's in a really rough spot. If you're a freshman in college right now, you still got a couple of years, so this year don't affect you as much as the seniors. So that's the main thing.
Yeah, true. You make a very good point. By the time they get to their eligibility, COVID could be come and gone.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure. I think they did it with basketball. I don't know about football too, but they probably will. I know they're giving everyone an extra year of eligibility. So. So even if this year don't happen, they still come back next year.
Oh wow, that's that's going to make the college football so competitive.
Oh yeah, especially if a lot of them come back. Yeah, that'd be huge.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Wow. Damn, I didn't even know that. That's a game changer right there.
Hmm.
That's significant. That is significant news. Wow. Okay. Well, shit. Well, let's man, 2 weeks until we have games, and then we will be on a strict weekly schedule, giving you a recap week by week of every single game. And man, I couldn't be more excited for it. Get your fancy lineups in line. I know we got a couple drafts coming up, right, Rob?
Oh yeah, we definitely got a couple drafts coming up. I mean, I got a lot of sleepers. We're gonna talk about.
If you guys are not in a league, go ahead and sign up for one. DM us and get in ours if you like. I don't care. We need peeps, and we are going to be giving you all, up to date. We're not fancy experts by any means, but we're just going to let you know what we think on some fancy lineups and who to play, who to sit. Hopefully, as we get into the season here, man, we're going to have some real exciting, up to date stuff. And man, it's crazy because these shows seem so fun and so quick, even though there haven't been a single football game played since we started this show, Rob.
Yeah, not one. Yeah, I mean, even it's not even like a regular off season. It hasn't much to talk about. So yeah, I can't wait till the game gets started.
Exactly. Yeah, crazy. So as always, we are on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at the Davis Football Show, Davis F Ball Show on Twitter, our YouTube page. Please go to, if you're listening to Apple Music, like most of you are, thank you so much. Scroll up on that page. Down at the bottom, it says leave a rate and review. We love 5 stars, but we don't judge. And feel free to leave us a review. That definitely helps with algorithm and gets more people to hear us out. And as always, thank you so much for listening here on the DFS.